Cyprus remote employer. Cyprus is becoming very popular for being a remote employer to overseas companies. And this is because, actually this should not come as a surprise, and it is because the tax-free amount here in Cyprus is the lowest in Europe. It's up to 19,500. The social securities and the NHS is very low when you compare it to other countries, and for the employer it's approximately 15%, whilst for the employee it's approximately 10%. And of course, there are many incentives for people who have their first employment here in Cyprus. If their salary is more than 55,000, then 50%, they will be taxed at 50% discounted. The formula is a bit complicated and we will explain this in another video, but if you're earning 100,000, you will not be taxed on your 100,000, but you will be taxed up to 50% of that amount. In addition, if your salary is below 55,000, there are other incentives where you will be taxed at 20% or up to the maximum cap applicable at that rate. These tax allowances, depending on which year you will be registered as an employee, are carried for many years. We're not talking about 10 years, some of them are 3 years, others 5. These things change from time to time. That's why I'm not going to be specific in this video, simply because if you watch this video in a year's time, maybe something will change. But what you need to grasp is that we have the highest tax-free amount, low social securities, and lots of tax incentives, so that the employer as well as the employee will be earning much more, irrespective of their gross salary. And this is because not only the taxes are lower, but also because there are specific exemptions, specific deductions, motives, incentives, so that you guys will pay less for the first few years of your relocation here in Cyprus. So what is this remote employer? This remote employer means that your Cyprus company, this remote employer means that you will either have overseas employees working in Cyprus, or you will hire local Cypriots to work for your overseas employees. This is a process that needs to be registered with the local tax office, with the local social security office, and of course this is something that we do for many of our clients. The payroll taxes will be subject to Cyprus percentages. Cyprus taxes will apply, and you need a local audit and assurance firm like CYAUSE Audit Services, who will be deducting and paying the social securities, the income tax, and the taxes, the salary tax to the relevant authorities every month. Now, let's get into a bit more detail. If you are an EU company who wants to send people in Cyprus and work on your behalf, or you are an EU company who wants to hire local Cypriots or local Cyprus tax resident people to work for you, then this is a rather rudimentary process. It's a bit complicated, but again, we've been dealing with this matter for so many years that we know inside out what the social securities and the income tax office require to see in order to register your EU company in Cyprus as a remote employer. Now, things get a bit more tricky when you are a non-EU company, you are a third country company who wants to send people to work in Cyprus, or who wants to hire Cypriots or Cyprus tax residents to work for you. So if you are not a company within the EU, then you need to have substance in Cyprus, either via subsidiary or a branch, and then the employees who will come from abroad to work in Cyprus, or the people who are already living in Cyprus, Cypriots or Cyprus tax residents, need to be employed by this branch or subsidiary. This, of course, entails a bit more costs. Maybe there are some immigration issues which we can assist you with, of course, but we will not go into detail because immigration issues are detailed, complicated, and they vary year on year. So what you need to decide to remember out of this podcast and vlog is, of course, that if you are an EU company, no issues, the job is done fast, easily, is streamed, nothing to worry about. If you are a non-EU company who wants to be a remote employer, then we need to discuss first immigration issues, if there are any, and secondly, you need to have in Cyprus a branch or a subsidiary to do this. Again, the process is streamlined. It's something that we've dealt too many times over the last 5 years because this has become popular over the last 5 years. But again, it requires lots of consultation from our end and lots of going forwards and backwards with emails, understanding exactly the group structure, the company, the UBOs, the people who will be recruited, where do they reside, whether they need immigration permits, visas, and whether, of course, you will use a subsidiary or a branch, and whether, of course, maybe we want to set up a standalone entity. This is another option. So all these are high-level discussions and consultation that our team of experts will provide to you, and we are more than happy to assist you. Our website is cyprusaccountants.com.cy. My email is kt@cyprusaccountants.com.cy. Feel free to drop me an email and we will be more than happy to assist you.